Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jen and Becca podcast. I am Becca, and this is my beautiful friend,
Jen.
I am so proud of you. Just as a reminder, the views expressed here are solely those of two extremely highly caffeinated child advocates who refuse to stay quiet. We are not lawyers, doctors, or therapists, though we've probably needed all of these. You can expect crime, corruption, and conversations that make predators squirm a little bit. If you're easily offended by truth, justice, or dark humor by Jen, consider this your warning. Listener discretion is advised, especially if you're a child groomer. In that case, just turn it off and run. So, just wanted to throw that out there. Now, grab your coffee and let's get started. So, Jen, some interesting things have been happening on X.
Oh my gosh.
And you are the X expert, so I'm going to let you start our segment off today.
Well, I guess I'll start with Andrew and Tristan Tate, but this kind of all, like, there's this whole mess, right? So there's Andrew and Tristan Tate, but then they've got these right-wing, supposedly conservative, pro-family influencers who are supporting them, like Benny Johnson, Candace Owens. I don't even know all their names, honestly, because I don't tend to follow these types of people, but they're supporting them. And at the same time, they're supporting Trump and supposedly free speech and family values and all that. It's just like, what are you doing? And then at the same time, and I do believe that this is connected, there are a ton of bots and or troll accounts that have basically made X unusable or at least unenjoyable. If you post about Israel, if you post about how evil human trafficking is, how evil child abuse is, if you post about the Tate brothers, if you post about Candace Owens, you will be attacked by a horde of anonymous accounts cussing you out, calling you a Jew, telling you that, you should be thrown into an oven. That, yes, I'm not kidding. Yes, last week, I had around 5 death threats. People telling me that I should be put in an oven, that I should be sent to the showers, which is a Holocaust reference.
Yeah, I know.
That I should kill myself, like very, very bad, vile stuff. And I have been reporting it, but
Does X do anything when you report accounts?
they do, but I think a lot of times these people, they've got like 20 accounts, or they just go and create a new account. And so they just keep, like, I've actually had it happen where someone said something really vile and I block them and they hop into another account and they're like, ha ha, you thought you could block me. And I'm like, you idiot, are you 12? Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. It's so weird. I don't know if people are just getting more ballsy or what the case is, but
Yeah.
I've been working a case out of Clay County, and it was a few days after I had posted something, my Instagram account was hacked.
Mm-hmm.
It took me days to get it back.
Oh my gosh.
And then my website, somebody tried to take over my website. And thankfully, I have like encryption and I have all kinds of like security. So I was notified right away. But yeah, it's crazy what people will do to get people to shut up about what's going on, especially when it comes to things like child abuse and misogyny. And
well, and to me, that's just like, that's very indicative that you have poked a legitimate wasp nest.
yes.
Because the kind of people, like, say you somehow got a hold of a story that wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
Or that wasn't as bad as the victims are claiming, right? Yeah. An innocent person would be like, whoa, let's talk about this. Let me give you, let me tell you what's going on. This is all a misunderstanding. They'd try to communicate with you.
Yeah.
They wouldn't attack you. They wouldn't try to hack your website. They wouldn't try to hack your social media. Like, those are criminal things to do.
Yes.
That's things criminals do. And so it's like, and I just talked to this guy on X about this, actually. He was spewing all this vile filth at me, claiming that Andrew Tate is a great guy. He's innocent, you cuss, And I'm like, the fact that you are cussing me out just proves my point that him and anybody who admires him is a trash person.
Yes. I don't understand it. I've posted a few times about the Tates, and I always get what I call tater tots in the
Yes.
comments.
Yep.
Like,
100%.
I don't think that they have a brain cell. They are just regurgitating vomit.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it because Andrew and Tristan have admitted on record, on videos, to doing a lot of. I mean, there's a video of Andrew Tate actually physically harming a girl named Vivian.
Yeah.
I just,
There's apparently multiple videos.
yeah.
They're not all public, you know. That's just one of the. I think there's two that I've leaked of him beating up women, at least. There's another one where he forces this woman to expose her rear end so he can show everyone the bruises on her.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he's bragging about doing that.
And so the question that I have, right, because
Yeah.
I'm really asking a question from my followers,
Hmm.
is that, well, she consented. She likes it rough. She likes that kind of interaction. So it doesn't and in Romania, age of consent is 16. So what's the big deal, Jen? You're making a big deal out of nothing. God, mind your own business.
Well, you know, and the thing that is extra crazy about this to me is he actually has talked about it on video about how Vivian was 15, a
Yeah.
minor. She's legally a minor.
If you do
And
math, I think they met when she was 14.
I think so, yes. And he openly brags about seducing and luring young women, virgins, teenagers. And he says he wants a 15, 16-year-old wife. But of course, he doesn't actually want a wife. He wants a whole harem of
Yeah.
OnlyFans models.
Well, and
Models.
that's why he sticks with Islam because
Yeah.
they condone that.
Yeah.
They condone it. I
It's
mean, look at
crazy.
Mohammed had Aisha as his child bride at 6 years old and consummated that marriage at 9 years old.
Yeah.
This is the culture that he wants to push on the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah. And he's very against monogamy. So, and he has a post, can we can show it, but he actually says that all women, in his mind, all women are sex workers.
Yes. I've seen some crazy posts by him.
He's nuts. Absolutely a misogynist. He believes that all women are sex workers. So he thinks that, you know, whether some women, you know, have many customers, whereas a wife like me, you or me, we just have one customer. That's his opinion of us. And somehow we're supposed to be okay with that and not complain. So yeah, it's just like, and he has videos where he boasts about breaking a woman's jaw, and you know, and now he actually recently he put together with his lawyer, I assume, this bizarre lawsuit. He's suing, I think it's like almost a dozen people. They're all ex people, like people on Twitter. And I mean, some of them, yes, they talk about him a lot, but they're literally sharing his posts, his videos, and saying, look, Andrew Tate is a misogynist. Andrew Tate is, you know, bragging about rape or bragging about beating up women.
Yeah.
They're stating facts. He's literally talking about these things. It's ridiculous. And then if you look at the lawsuit, some of their names aren't even spelled correctly. It's like whoever slapped this together, I don't know if they were drunk when they did it or what.
You know what he did? He
Huh?
probably used Chat GPT to write up the loss and probably was drunk on his own pride and couldn't see straight.
Yeah. I mean, some of the, like he's got like he put someone's name and then he says AKA and he has their X handle. It's like at and then their name. And I pulled up some of the handles. They don't exist. Like I don't know.
Did they delete their ex accounts?
No, they're all like, so it will go to an account, but it's like obviously an account that hasn't been used in years. Like if somebody's like old account, there's no photo, no tweets, you know,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
he spelled their handle wrong or something.
He's a piece of work.
He's special. He's real special.
He is. And, you know, for women, I know I prefer, my husband's an alpha male. I
Hmm.
prefer a masculine man.
Yeah.
some would say Andrew Tate is a masculine man. He would be considered. I don't think that I didn't think there was toxic masculinity until I saw Andrew Tate.
He's like a cartoon character of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, him and his brother.
Mm,
They are very cringeworthy.
yeah.
Well, and you wrote a post, right, about Andrew Tate and how conservatives are going gaga over him, which is mind-blowing to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how people like Candace Owens and Benny Johnson are defending him. And then also there was the lawyer on the Trump administration
Alina
is like a
Hava.
fan of his. I really appreciated Florida's stance though. So
Amen.
I'm
Yes.
thankful for that.
DeSantis and what's his name?
The
Uthmeyer?
Attorney General.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, speaking of good examples of masculinity, those guys are positive examples of masculinity because they
Yeah.
actually are interested in protecting women and children. Like
Yeah.
that should be the definition of masculinity right there.
Yeah.
They're protectors, they're defenders, they're providers.
Yeah.
So yeah, and have you seen the video of the Tates working out in their gym? Oh my gosh, I have sent it to you. It's hilarious. He like goes to bench press and he's like dink, 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 like with weight that probably like literally I would bench press. And then he goes and
I've
does like
seen you like what's it called? Dead weight? Is that what it's called? I don't
I
know.
don't
I don't
deadlifting.
know, but you are a beast in the gym. Andrew Tate has nothing on Jen Greenberg, okay?
Gosh.
Oh, that's funny. But Governor DeSantis said that the Tate brothers are not welcome in Florida. And
Yeah.
then the Attorney General said that, I want to see if I can pull it up, said that they were going to conduct their own investigation. Apparently, there was a victim in Florida.
Yes, correct.
And so DeSantis and the Attorney General, which their name is escaping me at the moment,
Let me pull it up.
said that they're going to dig into the Tates. And then it was shortly after they made that press release, I believe, that they fled Florida. But they
Yeah.
keep saying that innocent men don't run. So why don't they face their accusers then?
Because Florida is a communist state and they're Nazis, obviously.
Obviously, they
If you
definitely
don't
locked
want
us
human
down.
traffickers in your state, if you don't approve of pimping, then you are a communist and you are the Matrix.
The Matrix, that's
Crazy.
it. He
Oh my
called
gosh.
he called Florida Governor DeSantis a weak little twig and then started attacking his wife Casey,
Hmm.
who had cancer. What kind of a man does that?
Oh, he's obsessively attacked this little 10-year-old girl not too long ago. This guy named Petey on Twitter, who I'm not even sure why. He's a pretty popular
Oh, I
Twitter
remember
person.
that. And he called
Yeah,
the little girl
he
ugly or
posted
something.
Yeah, he posted this cute photo of him with his kids, and sort of out of the blue, as far as I can tell, Andrew Tate started calling her ugly. And he repeatedly said this in multiple posts and then even made several videos and did a podcast saying that this little girl, 10 years old, is ugly. Like, what are you doing? Yeah,
That's
just
verbal abuse. Somebody go arrest him.
well, it's creepy, and he's actively going after a child in that scenario. So this is Attorney General James Uthmeyer. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. He said last week, and this was this was March 4th.
What's the title of the article? I want to pull it up quick.
It's a tweet.
Oh, it's a tweet.
Yeah, it's not a press release, it's a tweet. So he says, last week I directed my office to work with our law enforcement partners to conduct a preliminary inquiry into Andrew and Tristan Tate. Based on thorough review of the evidence, I've directed the Office of Statewide Prosecution to execute search warrants and issue subpoenas in the now active criminal investigation into the Tate. So, and I do believe that my impression is that, yeah, there it is. Or not, I don't know if it's that one.
Which
It
you said it was on
it's
March 10th.
March 4th, so
March
you might have to
4th.
scroll down a bit. And there's no picture on it. But yeah, so my understanding is that they did seize phones and laptops, so I think that's it.
Last week, I directed my office to work with our law enforcement partners to conduct a Hey, I've had parents contacting him to conduct an investigation into Clay County,
Oh,
and we've
really?
not heard back. Yeah, we've contacted
Interesting.
him, DeSantis, Secret Service, FBI, everybody outside of Clay County, because there's just, I don't mean to get off topic, but
No, no, no.
when an
Yeah.
investigation has any form of bias, right? Like the sheriff,
Yeah.
she probably shouldn't be the one conducting the investigation if that's the case,
Absolutely not.
right?
No. Mm.
So this is the kind of stuff that's going on out of Clay County. And so Attorney General James Uthmeyer, if you're listening, I need your help.
Yes. Now, keep in mind, I do know for sure that sometimes when you report stuff to these agencies, they won't respond because they don't want you to know, or they can't, unless they're interviewing you as a witness
Yeah.
or a victim, they won't talk to you. Like, you can send them
Well, that's what I'm
information.
hoping is happening.
Yeah.
And
That
because
may,
there's been way too many people who have submitted tips
yeah.
and reports, and unfortunately, if you do it in the county, they retaliate. People have
Yeah.
moved out of the county because they've made their lives absolutely miserable. And
Yeah.
it's just nuts. So there's a ton of internal affairs complaints that have been filed even, but I digress. So this is
Yeah, I'm looking at their website. There is a way to file complaints. I wonder,
what with Clay County?
no, with the Attorney General.
Yeah, yeah.
That might be that. Let me see if I can help you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more people that we can get backing us, it should not just me, it's a team of investigative journalists.
Yeah.
And then also some parents who have spoke up and have not been heard. The school board's not, like when the one coach was put under investigation, the school board did not even make a statement and let the parents know that this individual was under investigation and wasn't allowed on campus. In fact, they allowed him to transport the wrestlers to his private gym. The gym is also listed in the disposition that was filed with the state attorney's office as a location of abuse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We need your help, Jen.
and I hate to say this. I'm not saying that this is the case in this situation, but I have noticed that sometimes, abuse victims or the parents of child abuse victims will come to me and say, hey, I have this issue. I'm having a lot of, I've talked to the police. I'm not getting any traction. And all I do is call the police and say, hey, I have parents calling me, what's going on? And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll get right on that. And then suddenly there's traction. And I don't think it's me as an individual. I think that it's, I have books out. I have a couple books out. I have a large Twitter following. I have a newsletter. And I think that they, see that and they go, well, crap, we need to get our ducks in a row.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I have so much evidence that I had to create a Google Drive and
Oh my God.
folders and start sorting through all this stuff. And I'm like trying to get affidavits from witnesses and victims, but they're terrified if it
Yeah.
gets submitted to Clay County because of retaliation. So thankfully, I
Yeah.
have a Secret Service contact, and he says he's looking into this situation. I just haven't, you don't always, because you've worked some pretty high profile cases. You don't
Yeah.
always hear back from them. And
You don't.
it takes a lot of praying and just be persevering through
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I've learned, so I'm working on, there's this one case, and I know that, if you follow me on X or my newsletter, you'll have heard me allude to this case before, and Becca, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
but there's one case, is a particularly egregious case. It's an old case. I've been working on it for 5 years.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been working on it longer than me.
Mm-hmm.
But my anxiety levels, my gosh, just knowing that there are dangerous people out there that for whatever reason, despite a lot of circumstantial evidence, law enforcement so far can't touch them, until we get some kind of forensic match or something. I honestly don't even know what we're waiting for. I don't know. But I know we're waiting for something because I have an FBI agent like that I can email, I can call her, I can text, and they're working on it. They're staying in touch. They're going to keep me posted.
Well, it's encouraging to know that, but it's also like kind of bittersweet. It's
It
encouraging to
is.
know that you have seen some sort of progress and that you've worked independently on this case for 5 years and it's still being worked. It's just also the bitter side is 5 years.
5 years, yeah. Yeah.
And you gave, I know because, the Lord has been kind to allow us to be friends for a while now and know about the inner stuff of what that case entails a little bit. Not all
Yeah,
of it,
yeah.
of course, but you've given some really hard evidence to
Yeah.
like concrete evidence. So I thought for sure when you told me a little bit about the case that this was going to be happening like in the next week where they were going to rush in on this guy and
That's
arrest
what I
him.
thought 5 years ago.
Oh my goodness. I cannot imagine waiting 5 years.
Yeah, and I still work on it off and on. I mean, I have to take breaks, and I have to prioritize my family, and I have to, anytime a child abuse case comes up or someone needs my help, I try to prioritize those immediate
Yeah.
needs. I think that's actually probably part of the problem, though. It's like you've got these cases. It's like, well, okay, we know that he did this a long time ago. We know that these people did this a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there's no one apparently in immediate danger. And so when you have, from law enforcement standpoint, so you've got an active shooter or you've got some guy flashing kids at a bus stop, you've got to prioritize those active threats first.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times cold cases or old cases, they just keep getting pushed back, onto the back burner. And
Well, I'm excited for when we can finally like talk about it because this is for you, this is going to be huge. Like everybody and their mother is going to be talking about this case.
I'm very excited. I'm very hopeful, and I mean it's just a matter of time. So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see what happens. It's just a matter of time.
All we can say though is it's an old case, it's a cold case,
Yeah.
and Jen cracked the code.
Yep. I did.
You sure did. And I'm
And
so proud of you.
thank you. Well, it's funny, like, as we were talking about contacting the DA about your case, I was thinking, well, why don't I start doing that in my case? Just kind of, I don't know, put some heat under their butts,
Yeah. Yeah, well, you could contact Attorney General James Uthmeyer,
I
considering
could.
where this individual is located.
Yeah.
I was just in that vicinity and I was thinking I should go. I won't be in the vicinity, don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go without me. I want
That
to,
sounds like a
yeah.
great girls trip. We could get some
Oh
good
my gosh.
footage.
Yeah. Accidentally bump into him with a car. I don't know. Should probably screen that one out. Oh well. We'll chalk that one up to the dark humor. I would never actually do that. But yeah, it's
It was
just
dark
every
humor.
so often I'm just like, if I was an evil person, I could deal with this right now.
Yeah, but you're not. You have such a kind heart.
Oh, thank you. I don't know.
But
Well, I think, it's ironic. Part of being a loving person is hating evil. Part of being a good person is being willing to do everything you can, within morality and legality
are those
to
birds?
prevent evil, and it's just, people, it's so frustrating, like in the church. And I had a conversation with a Christian counselor recently where he was talking about how we need to extend grace. Like, what does that even mean, by the way? Like, that's not a biblical concept. Like, God gives us his grace. Like, I can't loan God's grace to you, and I don't have any grace to give to you. So, like, what does
So
that
what
mean?
he's saying is that we need to forgive predators, forgive and forget. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, and he tried to tell me that my sins are just as evil and disgusting as that of a child predator, and therefore I should forgive child predators. And I'm like, okay,
Okay, well, I can see them all they rot behind bars and they meet Jesus
right,
there.
yeah.
I actually
Well,
just wrote a blog post about
it's such a perversion of the idea of grace and the idea of God's love and God's mercy, because it is actually merciful. Like, even to the abuser, it's actually merciful to report them to the police, Because if they're arrested, if they're put in jail, they can't dig themselves deeper into hell. They have to stop.
Right.
They
Yeah.
have to stop their evil. So that even though it's justice, it's also mercy simultaneously, because you're preventing them
Yeah.
from further destroying their brains and their souls.
And that's what I tell people all the time that are like, my parents are, I'm an adult now, but they're still verbally abusing me. They're manipulative, they're coercive. I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Psychologically very abusive.
boundaries,
Yeah.
create boundaries to prevent them from being able to do that to you. And that is how you can honor your parents in this season of your life. And that shows them that there's consequences to their action. You're not a punching bag to just
Yeah.
take their abuse. And
100%.
if they're going to treat you that way, they will be separated from you. And it might not be forever. It might just be for a period of time for them to hopefully grow up and mature a little bit. But I haven't talked to my parents. My dad's birthday was just the other day. I love him. Dad, I love you, but I'm not going to let you manipulate me and talk to me or your wife the way that y'all do.
Yeah.
People who are not Christians like to use your faith against you in that same
Mm-hmm.
exact situation.
Yeah.
Christian counselor saying, "Oh, you have to forgive and forget." Knock it off. Just stop.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
does not honor the Lord. God created government to punish evildoers.
Yeah. Absolutely 100%. And if you look in the Bible, like you actually crack open your Bible and you read it, you'll realize that even heaven has walls around it.
Mm,
Even heaven. And that's to keep out evil people.
mm,
So, we are well within biblical precedent to protect ourselves from evil people.
yeah.
And holding people accountable is just. One pastor said it this way, and I found it interesting. You can honor your parents by being honorable yourself. And
Yes.
how does an honorable person respond to abuse and evil? They call
They
it
don't
out.
tolerate it.
Mm-hmm. They don't tolerate it.
I wrote a post, blog post that I just actually put up today about wolves in sheep's clothing hiding behind Christianity, and how Christians are called to call out evil people, that the light's called to expose it. Ephesians 5 is very clear about this, and people just, I don't know if they're uncomfortable calling out fake Christians, or they want to believe that they're actually really Christians, but still being in that, like, we're all being sanctified, but still, like, has not repented yet. Well, then you're not a Christian if you're not repenting of your sin and find it
Yeah.
vile. Like, when you become a Christian, you see your sin and you're like, oh my gosh, this is offending a holy God. I need to turn away from this. I need to repent. I need to do better. I want to honor God. Those are the marks of a Christian, not
Yeah. You want accountability. Yeah.
continuing to stay in your sin, pursuing it, knowing what it leads to.
Yeah.
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 You wrote some blog posts recently, or articles for the Christian Post, exposing the right has a misogyny problem.
Yes.
And to Andrew Tate's conservative fans, shame on you. I love it.
And an open letter to President Trump asking him to, which by the way, I printed it out and I mailed it to him as well, just in case.
Did you? I
I
didn't know that.
did.
I did sign the letter that you wrote up on
I,
Change.
yeah, I put it on change.org. I haven't really pushed that very much or promoted it very much, so there's not very many signatures. But I just, I really feel that by protecting, defending, and advocating for Andrew Tate in the way that they have, Richard Grenell and Elena Haba, and what's the other guy? Paul Ingracia, have severely compromised Trump's reputation, his advocacy against human trafficking. I mean, this was one of the big things that Trump ran on, was that he was going to deport sexual predators who are illegal aliens or who are not citizens of the U.S. He's going to kick them out of the country. And he's going to protect women and girls against these perverts.
Yeah.
And this was a huge campaign promise that he made. And so when we have, granted, Andrew Tate is a U.S. citizen. However, so on the one hand, it's like, say hypothetically that Romania, where he was living, is using lawfare to persecute him. I don't think that they are, but just say hypothetically that's true, okay? He's still objectively an awful, disgusting, misogynistic, a vile person, right? Just objectively, you know, even, I don't know, pretty much anybody should be able to look at just his tweets alone and go, yeah, it's gross dude. He's gross. So to see Alina Habba and Richard Grenell and Paul Ingrassia and, oh, what's his name? Dan, starts with a B. Yeah. Promoting him, defending him, speaking highly of him. Paul Ingrassia said that he's basically like he's a model of masculinity, somebody that everybody should look like, he's a role model. Elena Habba said she's a huge fan of his. She's like, I'm a big fan, and she's so ditzy. Like she reminded me of a teenage girl going to a Justin Bieber concert, you know? It was just like, what are you doing? Because especially in light of the previous accusations against Trump, like he's trying to repair his reputation. He's trying to, you know, push this movement against misogyny, against abuse. He's got women in his administration. And I just feel like they're burning it all down. They're completely invalidating it. And you can, if you look at like liberal journalists who have covered this stuff, they basically view it as confirmation that, oh, yep, Trump is a pervert. He's enabling perverts. Look at all these people in his administration who are, you know, proponents of the Tates, friends of the Tates. And supposedly, I don't know if this is true or not, I tend to doubt it, but according to Tate, which is why I suspect it's a lie, he's buddies with one of the Trump sons and Barron as well. And so I think it's Donald Trump Jr. and Barron Trump. He claims that he's a family friend of the Trumps. And so by promoting Tate, by defending him, by publicly coming out and praising him and retweeting him, all this crap, they're giving credence to everybody's worst fears. I just don't understand it. Like, how are you in the Trump administration and doing this? Like that, it's counterproductive.
Gross.
It's really gross.
I can't. I mean, and he's obviously lightened up on some of his tweets, right? Like he's not posting the way he was posting.
Tate?
He's still incriminating himself, but not
Oh
nearly
yeah,
as
the
bad
guy
as it was.
it's compulsive. It's some sort of compulsive thing that he loves joking and talking about the things that he does.
Allegedly, the Attorney General of Florida, James Uthmeyer, and Ron DeSantis said that. And Andrew Tate is saying that he's being set up by them.
Oh. Well, you know, I mean, if he would quit talking about how he pimps women and abuses women, maybe other people would too. You know, it could be a thought. I don't know. Maybe his lawyer needs to have a conversation with him. You know, maybe stop saying that you're doing all these things and then other people will stop accusing you of doing these things. Pro tip.
Then he says, hello, Florida Attorney General and Ron DeSantis. Tristan stole my snacks on the jet. Please open a criminal investigation. He thinks it's a joke.
Oh, yeah. He is very, very cocky.
They started an investigation against me without probable cause. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, but I think anybody who goes online and claims that they're a human trafficker or, you know,
did you see
abuser, child predator, they should be investigated, you know? Yeah. They should.
Andrew Tate said Floridian police have written to Google to access my emails to see what spam I'm signed up to, I guess. Great investigative skills. Google just told me. Land in America and privacy instantly invaded by Ron DeStallion or DeStalin.
Oh, DeStalin? Yeah. I was going to say DeStallion sounds kind of like a compliment.
Yeah. Enjoy the newsletters, losers. Wow. I don't know.
I don't think they emailed Google. I think they got a warrant.
Yeah. I don't think he really understands how the law works.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's weird because like people hold him up as they think he's like this model of masculinity and he's super intelligent.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to waste any more breath on him. He's just not worth it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Trump's administration gets their act in gear though, and they need to like
as a child advocate and as someone who has voted for Trump based off of the promises he's made to protect children primarily, but some other things, it is very concerning to me that he would allow his main lawyer on his administration
His
to support
counselor,
someone like,
yeah.
yeah. And like,
Yeah, it's not
she
good.
was fangirling him on the interview with Benny Johnson. It was
Yeah.
very distasteful. Do better.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. She's not a serious person. I mean, she's very pretty, and I think I don't know. To me, she strikes me as someone who wants to be like a celebrity lawyer,
Yeah,
not someone who is genuinely interested in protecting conservative values,
yeah, I agree with you. Well, also on Twitter this past week, we had some really crazy tweets that Kanye West posted about Kim Kardashian and I believe her mother, and I think also Beyonce and Jay-Z, calling them child traffickers of their own children, which
Mm,
is really crazy. Kanye West said in his latest public rant on X, Kim Kardashian is a sex trafficker. I don't like that Twigs has my daughter in her video dressing all grown. Would have expected more from Twigs. And then he added, it's effing, I don't know, I don't cuss, so it's F all you N-word. My soul is black and watch y'all don't believe me and just say I'm crazy.
I'm not sure that was sentences.
Yeah, that
It was
might
just
have
like a
been the voices
conflagration
in
of
his head.
words.
He later wrote, I haven't seen Saint in 6 weeks. In another tweet, he wrote that he just wanted to protect his children.
Hmm.
Then West wrote, it's time now. They really have to kill me as a father. I will no longer distract myself from my responsibility to truly and actually protect my actual children. Then went ahead to reveal that he is planning to reveal full custody of his children.
Hmm. No, that should fly.
And then Kim cut West's meet with his children short.
And you know why that was?
I think it had.
He
Okay,
invited the Tate brothers to his house while the kids were there. And Kim Kardashian was like, no. So apparently, yeah, her security detail alerted her that these alleged human traffickers were going to be in the house with her children. And she was like, okay, yeah, let's not do that. So she took them back to, I guess, her house. And I think those tweets where he's calling her a human trafficker, I think he's responding to that. I think that's what that is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is from Hindustan Times, so take it how I don't. I've
You
not
know what's
read
interesting
their
is
articles before.
they tend to report on things faster, I've noticed, than some of the US media. The US media will pick up
Australia
on it.
does that too. I
Huh?
noticed
Yes.
Australia does that too.
Yeah. I
Um,
suspect it might be a legal thing. I think probably what happens is, because Kanye and Kim are here in the US media and journalists are probably more vulnerable to lawsuits and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so they have to take extra precautions, whereas an Australian journalist or Hindustan Times, they're far less likely to get sued.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
they can put stuff out faster. It's probably something like that.
So now it's saying that Kim, as of March 21st, today,
Mm,
is reportedly preparing to take legal steps against Kanye West.
yeah.
She allegedly has never not allowed West to be with the kids. They have what, four kids? Northwest, Saint West, Chicago West, and Psalm West.
They didn't do a Southwest or an East-West?
Well,
What?
if they did Southwest, they might be competing with the airplane company.
All the domains are taken.
Why does he live in Tokyo? I didn't know that.
What?
It says a source said no one is preventing him from seeing his kids. He's the one who chooses to live in Tokyo much of the time.
Huh. I don't know, but if he's hanging out with the Tates, it's probably, I don't know. I'm just like automatically suspicious of
Okay,
anyone.
here it is. This week, West made shocking and unfounded accusations labeling Kim Kardashian a sex worker and sex trafficker, while also making derogatory comments about former friends Jay-Z and Beyonce's children. In a surprising turn, Kanye claimed he intended to fight for full custody of their 4 kids, even though he reportedly has minimal involvement in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah. I honestly think that, well, I think two things are happening here. It's possible that he's severely mentally ill. I mean, he was, not too long ago, he was posting graphic, and I mean graphic,
Yeah.
PORN, on his
Even of
X
his
account.
own wife. Like,
Huh?
even of Bianca Sensori, who doesn't censori herself.
Oh, seriously? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw nastiness and I blocked him. I didn't look, I'm not even sure you could see their faces, if you know what I mean. It was horrible.
Oh,
And
that's
so
nasty.
it was very, very nasty, objectively disgusting. So he starts posting that, and his account got set to, I don't know what the terminology is, but his account got set so that you can't search his name anymore. You can't pull him up in searches anymore. You have to actually Google his X account in order to pull it up because he was posting so much explicit content. Um, I actually thought he'd been banned, but no. So there was that incident, but then he's also like marketing t-shirts that have swastikas on them. He's promoting Nazism. Like, he's unhinged. And like I was saying, I think there's two things going on. Either and or either he's severely mentally ill or he's evil and he's doing all this to get attention. And I think it's probably a combination, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I tend to be overly optimistic sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think with Kanye that one, I don't know if I still don't know if it's the real Kanye West. So put that out there. Two,
Well, so here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. Like, if he's really like schizophrenic or
yeah.
something like that, if he's really severely mentally ill, why does he have so many successful ongoing business relationships? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I think it's just the brand. It's just the name. Kanye West is a name that most people know, and the younger generations will buy
Yeah.
no matter what he has going on, no matter how crazy and off his
Well,
rocker he
and
is.
for people who aren't on X, they might not even realize
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
weird he's gotten. I mean, well, I guess everybody saw the crazy thing where he showed up to, what was it? It wasn't the
Grammys
Grammys,
or
was it the
something.
Emmys?
Yeah, something. I don't
That big
remember.
glam event, and his wife was, wearing a
Smoking.
string.
Yeah. Well, and then he came out on X, and this apparently was, out of everything that's happened, this was the straw that broke Kim Kardashian's back, apparently. Okay. So she says that it's off limits for him to talk about children. You should not talk about children at all. That's where she draws the line. But apparently, he questioned Beyonce and Jay-Z's 7-year-old twins' mental capacity in his social media tirade. He also claimed that the single ladies hitmaker Beyonce used IVF to conceive them. And I actually remember seeing a picture of his tweet. It was something about how he believes that the twins are mentally, he used the R word, which shame on him for using the R word, I guess.
Yeah.
Mentally because of artificial insemination.
That doesn't make any sense, but yeah, so many things that he says
I
make
think
sense.
a lot of what I don't think a lot of what he says really makes sense. In his head and the voices that he hears, it probably makes sense. But I also think that Hollywood has a way of destroying people. You see
Yeah.
that with Britney Spears, you saw that with Justin Bieber
Yes.
over and over and over and over again. I don't know if you've seen what Ariana Grande looks like these days,
Oh,
but
she's anorexic. Yeah, big time.
it looks, and she practices witchcraft. So does the other co-star of that movie, Wicked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're
Bizarre.
both witches.
I don't understand that movie. Okay, this is a side quest here, but Why can't Hollywood put out any new movies? Like, why is everything a remake of something now?
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm tired of it. Like, it's the new Snow White. It's the new whatever. And some of them I enjoy. Like, I liked the new Lion King.
Yeah, I saw
But
your
it was
post
a
about that.
yeah, it was a new story though. It wasn't a remake. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's just like, oh my gosh, just find better. Like, I'm a writer. I could write stories for you if you need new stories, like fresh stories, stories that haven't been told 100 million times.
My daughters love writing stories.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
just
they
don't. I
have
don't
all
get
kinds
it.
of ideas that could be turned into a movie. I kind of stopped watching movies. I can't remember the last movie that I watched and like thoroughly enjoyed. I do like watching. I like binge watching TV sometimes though.
Yeah, that's fun for sure.
Yeah, but
Have you seen Cobra Kai?
no.
No, it's really fun.
Is it?
It is. Yeah, the
The
kids would like it
one
too.
that I'm watching right now is 1923, and I'm
Oh,
obsessed with the storyline of Spencer and Alex.
okay. So I saw that last night. Is that on Paramount?
I think it's Paramount Plus.
Okay,
I'm subscribed through Amazon Prime, so I don't know.
gotcha.
Yeah. Um yeah, but it's really good. It's like a follow-up from 1883, which I watched that and I loved that show. I like historical accounts made into TV shows. Like I love
Yeah.
Downton Abbey. I love, oh my goodness, Sherlock Holmes.
Have you seen Bletchley's Circle?
No.
Yes, girl, watch that. So that is about British woman code breakers who helped crack the
Ooh.
Nazi code.
We were made for such a time as this, Jen.
Yes. And so I particularly was fascinated. I love word puzzles. And of
Mhm.
course, just knowing that women were involved
Yeah.
in that level of fighting the Nazis and
Yeah. I love it.
stopping evil. I was just awesome, awesome, awesome. And also, it's an interesting perspective into like the culture of the day, like the different women who are being recruited because they're really good at word puzzles. I don't remember what the agency is called, but the agency basically they have to come and get the woman's husband's permission or her dad's permission. It's like, can your wife come and help us?
Yeah. That's
It's just really interesting.
I love seeing history lived out. I love history to begin with. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite. History and social studies and current events are like my favorite topics to talk about. And so I love the 1923 show and seeing what it was like for women to migrate to America through Ellis Island and to study whether or not that was accurate. Like the physical exam alone was so degrading for women. Like if they came overseas pregnant, 9 out of 10 times they were returned to where they came from
Why?
because they couldn't work. And America was so strict on who could migrate and become a citizen. If you were not going to participate into the economic growth of the country, you were not allowed in the country.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's so
like
sad.
I didn't know that, but yeah. So the story is just so good and so rich. Spencer is ex-military and he becomes like this lion hunter in Africa and he meets his wife, Alex, and she was engaged to like the archbishop or something and she's like a duchess and they run away with each other and it's super romantic, but then they get separated. Like they keep coming across situations and because they didn't have like a marriage certificate, they were separated and now they're fighting to get back to his property in Montana to help his family fight the people that are trying to steal their land for coal mining and all kinds. It's such a good show. You have to watch it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about today?
I cannot think of anything off the top of my head unless you want to talk about Tesla's on fire and that sort of thing.
I think my husband told me that people were purposefully setting Teslas on fire.
Yeah, vandalizing them, spray painting them,
Why? Because
planting
Elon Musk
bombs
created
at,
them?
huh?
Why? Because of Elon Musk creating them or what?
It's owned by Elon Musk and they don't agree with him politically and therefore they feel entitled to go and burn down people's businesses and destroy their livelihoods and
What
jobs
happens
and
is like
property.
tolerance and being able to be all inclusive and like I don't
It's
so it's okay for them to destroy people's property that they don't agree with. But if conservatives were to do that, would that be okay? I don't think so.
No, that would be terrible. So, yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just like, okay, wrong is wrong and right is right. And it doesn't matter how angry or jealous or resentful you may feel. You don't get to go be evil. You don't get to hurt random people. You don't get to destroy other people's property just because you're mad about what some guy tweeted or because, you know, his politics don't align with you. Like that doesn't, there's this weird, I have always, like, as long as I can remember, and I think the world, generally speaking, most people used to think this way. Things like vandalism are wrong. Killing is wrong. Murder is wrong. But like we see in that, the case where that, I'm blanking on the name now, the United Healthcare guy was murdered. There's a whole movement of people who are defending the killer and big fans of the killer. And there is a woman actually on X calling for someone to kill Musk because of politics. She's like, oh yeah, you'd be a hero if you did that. They're insane.
I've seen that for Trump.
Yes.
Like encouraging his assassination, which I even have a sister-in-law who, I mean, she lives in Pennsylvania, so we don't see each other too often, maybe once or twice a year, who is so anti-Trump that it's like causing her to get like sick. Like everything is a tirade against the administration.
Yeah.
And I asked my husband, I'm like, have you seen her posts? Like, I thought she loved God. Why is she like doomsdaying everybody all the time? Like, oh my God, he's done this, and oh my goodness, he's done this, and the world's gonna come to an end because of Trump. I'm like, where's your hope? Where are you placing your peace? Because it should never be in government. That's why God has allowed us to come to his mercy throne in the name of Jesus, so we don't have to feel hopeless. We have the ability to cast our minds on things that are eternal, so that way, as this world is slowly catching fire, which is inevitable, we're not in turmoil. Like, I had to kind of try to remind her that, hey, sis, your hope is in God, I thought. And then she's like, well, don't push your religion on me. Wait, who are you a second?
Yeah. No,
they're taking women's rights away. I'm like, what rights are being taken away? The right to murder a child in the womb? Don't say that.
Remember before he was elected, they were saying, oh yeah, women aren't even going to be allowed to have jobs anymore. What happened to that?
I don't know. I'm working full time. I can't keep up with the work I'm given. So,
you know, and what I think is happening, I can only assume that this is what's happening. They're giving themselves a steady diet of propaganda. They're listening to, whether it's a podcast or a news media, I don't know where they're getting their information or who they're listening to exactly, but it's a steady diet of this. And that's all that they see. That's all that they hear. That's all that they know. And they really need to just go outside and, as the kids say, touch some grass.
Yes.
Like, the sun is still shining. Your neighbors are still, you know, happy. They're checking their mail. They're taking their trash out. Go say hi. You know, I mean, your community is still, like, there's still businesses open. There's women working.
$3 gallons of gas.
I mean, it's just like, look around you. Find an issue that is actually relevant to your immediate life instead of spending so much time obsessing over something that some podcaster told you is happening. Like, even, okay, so this is one thing that I feel that people have this tendency now, and I think social media is it's like pouring gasoline on this flame. People have a tendency to get very, very wrapped around the axle and compulsive and obsessive about things. And so they can read about something on social media. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant. Whether it's impacting their lives or not is irrelevant. Like, it has nothing to do with them. It could be happening on the other side of the world. And they will make that their whole identity to rant against that thing. It doesn't even have to be real.
I just want to encourage everyone to find your identity in who God made you to be. And not the passing, the fleeting, the perishable circumstances and
Yeah.
things that you're passionate about in this world, because all that stuff is going to pass away one day, and you're
Yeah.
going to be left forcefully or willingly bowing before a holy, righteous, wrathful God. So as you are
Yeah.
making decisions on where you rest your hope and where you put your energy, just remember that this life one day is going to pass away, and you will
Yeah.
be left with your eternal state. And how that soul is treated at the end of this life is dependent on what you do now.
Yeah. And even like, if you're not a believer, or if you're not sure what you believe about eternity, the afterlife is objectively true, you just, for the sake of your mental health,
Yeah.
don't make your identity all about anger. Like even with like stuff like the Tates. Obviously, I don't like the Tates. Am I going to rant about them, 24/7? Am I going to find my identity in constantly, accusing him of things that he said that he did? No. I'm going to call him out responsibly. If and when he gets arrested, I'll be happy. But I'm not going to build my whole identity, center my whole being around hating Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
And he's objectively horrible. I'm still not. So it's just, we have beliefs, we have standards, we have laws. We encourage our leaders to uphold the law, to do what's right, but you don't want to make anger your main emotion.
Yeah.
It will tear you apart.
Yeah.
It will destroy you.
It absolutely will. It really will. One more thing before I let you go, which I think is really cool. So, if you've been listening to our podcast for, I don't know, maybe at least half the time, this is only our 13th episode. We took a little bit of a break the past couple months, but you know that I was told for a long time that I was conceived in rape, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because my mom recanted that this past year, I sought out my biological father. I found him, and I found my biological sister.
What?
Yes.
Oh my
And
gosh, Becca.
I just went on a trip this past week to South Carolina for a homeschool convention.
Uh-huh.
And I met her.
What?
Yeah, I met her, and she is lovely. She's so beautiful. She's a Christian. We get along so well. We met her at her house. I met her husband. The twins met her. And then on our way back down to Florida, I have a big pet peeve about people using the wrong directions. So we were on our way back down to Florida. We stopped off at this Mexican restaurant and we had lunch together. And she knows that I have a decent sized platform. She's like, "When are you going to tell people?" I was like, I don't know when I'm going to tell people, but I felt like the time right now was a good time. Now, I know that my mom and my other sister that I grew up with are going to be livid. I don't know if they watch the show. If you do, I love you, and I'm not replacing you by any means, but you could probably afford to be a little bit nicer to me. I'm just saying. But I want to show you a picture of
It's
me
a
and
thought.
my sister. Oops, wrong button. Hold on. She is so adorable, and I'm so smitten by her.
Aww. Oh
Isn't
my
she so
gosh. You
cute?
guys look
Oh,
like sisters.
we do. And me and my other sister that I grew up with, we look nothing alike. So it's just like so sweet and so like refreshing. She gets it. Like
Yeah.
my other sister, I think I told you that she had a miscarriage. She had
Mhm.
multiple miscarriages, and we were not talking for like 9 months. So she tried to reach out to me. She had a really bad dream. She had a dream I was possessed by demons, and her husband, who is a Satan worshiper, he slayed me and saved her. So she thought for sure that I was like in dire straits
Mm-hmm.
and that my life was in shambles. So I unblocked her because my cousin was like, "Hey, your sister's trying to reach out to you." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I unblocked her. I let her reach out to me. And I told her, "Hey, I'm doing really great. Thanks for asking."
Yeah.
I think she wanted me to not be doing really great or something because she like turned into a green-eyed monster. Although people with green eyes are beautiful, by the way.
You were talking about like someone with like lizard eyes or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and so I found out about she had another miscarriage. I sent her a book called Safe in the Arms of God. I thought, this would give her hope that she'll get to see her babies again.
Yeah.
Well, she went on like an assassination attempt of my character and told her in-laws, and they started contacting me, calling me all these horrible things because I'm condemning my sister to hell by sending her a book about babies going to be with God.
Okay. Weird take. Also, question.
Yeah.
If her husband is a Satan worshiper and you were demon possessed in her dream, wouldn't they be friends?
I would think, right?
Because, Satan is the king of the demons. I would just, hypothetically speaking, if you were possessed by demons, you should get along with her husband.
I would, yeah. I mean, we would probably be besties.
You could draw upside down goat heads on walls together. You could sacrifice chickens. There's so many things you could do together to bond, as people who love demons.
Yeah. I mean, he says he's like possessed by legions of them. So I thought would be a family reunion,
You would think, you'd think, yeah,
I think
get together.
he's afraid of his inner being cast into a lot of pigs or something.
It's always a concern, I would think, but yeah, interesting. Girl, we both have Jerry Springer families.
I think so. I really do think so. I could go into some detail.
I feel like we could tell Jerry Springer some of our stories and be like, "You're too weird for me."
Yeah. He's a weird one. We could have a whole episode talking about the history of Jerry Springer, but
could we? It doesn't surprise me. Anybody who wants to do a show like that has to be at least a little colorful.
Did your family watch Jerry Springer in the living room with you as a child?
No, we didn't even get TV. So I saw it when I was like babysitting kids. I'd go over to their house and turn on daytime TV, and then that was my introduction to like, what is it, Days of Our Lives and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I watched things like that when I was babysitting kids. So
I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I wanted to be a vampire slayer. So
we
here
are.
Here
we
I am.
Kind of are, yeah.
Predator slayer. And you should be shaking in your boots. You should be afraid, very afraid.
Very afraid.
Oh all right. Well, I guess that's a wrap for today's episode of the Jen and Becca podcast. It probably can't get too much better than this episode, but
probably not.
I'm sure.
Depends on what weird things happen next.
We are living in 2025, and I didn't have Doge on my bingo card for this year. So.
I didn't have most of the things that have happened on my bingo card this year.
Yeah, it's interesting so far.
But I feel like we need to test the water.
Yeah, let's see how more interesting it can get from here. Just remember, everyone, stay caffeinated, stay bold, and if you see a predator, run toward them with the full force of justice. We'll be back next time with more crime and coffee and Christ. And until then, keep kids safe and keep your nonsense detectors on high alert.